Hey guys, what's going on? Lythis here for 1428 Gaming, and today you guys get to check out the first episode of 1428 Wrestling, taking place in Fire Promoter on Fire Pro Wrestling World. Now, a quick rundown of what we're doing, because if we take a slight peek behind the curtain, I had a great intro set up in the initial stream for this, and due to some just wonderful technical difficulties, my computer has decided it wanted to corrupt the first half hour of what we did. Won't affect us here, but it does mean that I'm going to explain to you right now what we're doing versus you getting to see all of the setup in the video. Basically, what we did is over on Twitch, and we're going to continue to do this, so you want to make sure that you're following us over there on Twitch. Link down below. We started a brand new company, 1428 Wrestling, here in Fire Pro, and the Twitch audience got to randomly select, based on just throwing out random numbers, which 6 superstars or wrestlers or whatever we started with, because we wanted to give it a bit of a random feel. We didn't want to just start with the 6 default characters that they give us. So we are running 6 random choices, and the audience over on Twitch gets to help book the matches, gets to help decide who we go after in free agency, and then gets to predict the winners of the matches and everything. So as we're going through, you'll notice I'm talking to the Twitch audience quite a bit, so make sure that you're following over there so that you can see these happen live and be involved in what direction this whole promotion is going to take. Now, if you're not familiar with Fire Pro Wrestling World, you're in for a little bit of a treat. It's a much better simulation experience than, say, your 2K, WWE 2K games. But I'd have to figure, if you're watching this video, you're probably pretty familiar. It's not a new game. It's been out for a few years. So I'm probably not telling you anything that you don't already know. But without further ado, let's check out who we've got. We're going to jump right into month 1. At this point, we've already set it up so that everybody who was not selected is in the game, able to be recruited or scouted as free agents, so they don't appear right away, but they can appear throughout the course of our game. We've got all the promotions set up, some generic created by Fire Pro, some actual real-world promotions with actual names that you'll recognize. And we're going through it month by month, watching the matches and seeing how far we can take this thing. Without further ado, let's take a look at 1428 Wrestling, guys. Hearing me, certainly not seeing me. Well, either way. So we've selected our 6 people. I've then gone through, we've created the game. There are 16 promotions total in the game. A lot of them are created by the game, but we've added in WWE, AEW, New Japan, and in a little bit of nostalgic feel, ECW. They do not have their full rosters, but they've got a random assortment of, somewhere around 15 or so of their own guys. Everybody that wasn't put on either our roster or one of those 4 rosters is now added in. They have the ability to show up at any point throughout the game as free agents if we scout them. So there's not a lot we can do in the first month because we just don't have enough money. We've got to spend on our show more than anything else. But if we look, this is our roster, which is quite the blend of stuff. Donatello's got some decent popularity, as does Taka. And Donatello's got good stats. I like that they named some of his moves. I haven't used any of those guys in any matches, so I don't know how any of them will stream. Swole, Jericho, and Bockwinkle. I know how I would book this, but it doesn't really matter how I would book this, because we're going to go to the Twitch stream, and they're going to get a say in what types of matches we put together, which, if you're watching this on YouTube, and you want to be able to determine who we sign, what types of matches we do, if you want to be able to vote in who's going to win each match as we go along, you've got to subscribe to us on Twitch. Lythas, Lythas5. It's in the YouTube comments down below. Find us on Twitch. That way you'll know when we go live with these things. You'll be able to have a say in the direction of this promotion as long as we can keep it going. We'll be selective with how we scout here. I'm only going to send out 2 of them. And we're not going to send them for 2 months, 12 months. We're going to send them for like 3 months. Just the ones that look for strong style because that's our style. Early on, the more that we can find that they're going to fit our end, the better. Let's look at free agency. There are likely no names that we're going to notice. I mean, you can see as we go through here, these are the two richest promotions right now. But here's WWE and who they were randomly given: Edge, Jeff Hardy, Matt Riddle, Randy Orton, Shinsuke, Sami Zayn. And then on the female side, you got Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, Shayna Baszler, Bayley. So they did pretty well with some names. MVP. New Japan. It's got a lot of the dads. Nakanishi and Nagata and Honma and Makabe. Tiger Mask. But they got Sonata, Naito. They got a lot of LIJ in here. AEW. We stole Jericho from them in our pick. And they've really kind of got the AEW dark crew here to a degree. I mean, they got Cassidy, they got Luchasaurus, they got Matt Jackson, not Nick Jackson, Matt Hardy, ECW, Al Snow, Spike Dudley, the Sandman, Chris Candido, Bam Bam Bigelow. So, a lot of big names even from those promotions that can still show up in free agency. A lot of created promotions here that are a lot closer to where we're at. And then a lot of free agents that are names we don't know. And if you're wondering why we don't try to sign any, I'll just go ahead and tell you, they're all too expensive for us to get right now. Because we've got to offer them bonuses to even talk to them. And we don't want to be offering anybody even $7,000, never mind $15,000. What we wouldn't hate doing is trying to invite people to our show. So before we try to book, I'm just going to look and see if we can find anybody. The free agents are probably still too expensive. Like, yeah, he wants like $11,000 to come to our show. And while I'm looking through here and trying to find if anybody is affordable for us to do this, I'll point out our kind of unwritten rules here, which were only a couple of them. One's really designed to make sure this is not too easy for us as we get going, and the other is to make sure that it's at least somewhat easy. If we could get Adam Davis, that'd be nice. So, as I've mentioned in the past, you can run cross-promotion shows with other companies. It's what you have to do. And each company is then forced to, we got one guy. We have to get another guy for this to matter. Good. Okay. So you have to cross-promote with other promotions, and when you do that, each company has to put a title belt on the line. If you win that company's title, you keep that company's title, and your rank as terms of a promotion at the end of the year and such weighs heavily on how many titles you've accumulated. So these cross-promotion shows are a really big deal. As you just saw, we just invited people to our show. So for 1 month, those guys will be able to come and wrestle on our show. There is a strategy you can use that if you were playing this on your own, it's the way to go. But for our purposes, it's a little too cheap, which is you can invite in champions. When you get to a certain level, champions, or you'll invite people and they'll say yes. And if they have a title belt, they have a championship, once you have them for that month, you can put their title on the line and try to just take their title on your regular show. And their company has no say in the matter, and if you win it, you just get to keep it. Right now, we'd never get a champion, but if this goes the way I hope it does, eventually, we'd kind of be able to do that at will. And that kind of kills the cross-promotion, the whole reason you do cross-promotion. So, we're not going to be doing that. The only way we are going to take singles titles from another company, there's 2 ways to do it. The cross-promotion, as I just explained, or one way that I cannot help them doing is if they put a title on someone and then release them. The title will go with them to free agency. It's just a weird feature of this game. It does not strip that person of the belt. If we don't sign them, they'll just either be signed by somebody else or sit in free agency forever, and that title will never exist anymore. So if it goes to free agency and we sign them, that's all fair game. The other rule, so that's to try to keep it from being too easy. The rule that keeps it somewhat fair is that, as I mentioned, there are free agents we can sign. The way this game works, you can only make one offer a month. That does not mean, I'm not saying that you can only sign one free agent a month. You can only make one offer. If you make an offer and they say no, you don't get to make a second offer to that person. You don't get to make another offer to anybody else. You're just done. And this early with 6 people, that's too restrictive, in my opinion, for us to be able to really run a company. So, we're not excessive with it, and we don't have the money to be excessive with it. But I do save before we make those offers, so that if there's a few targets we have the option to make an offer to one, be turned down, come back. It's the only real time that I will save scum, for that for lack of a better term, where we try to keep things, speaking of which, I'll save now just because we've done some stuff, but it's the only time, really. The other time is this show right here. We just invited 2 people. We really, and I'm going to do everything we can beforehand to try to make sure those 2 people are going to show up. But we need those 2 people to show up just to get off on the right foot. So we're going to book our show. You might have noticed I went really quick there, but we chose the normal matches. If you choose cage match or landmine death match or anything like that, every match on the show is that stipulation. And that does affect your ratings and how the matches go and everything. So right now we're just going to stick with normal matches. And the chat's going to basically direct how we're going to do this. I get a say, but it's a minimal say. I would think, unless the chat disagrees with me, first off, let's find out. Obviously, we can run a world title match. Can we run a junior? We could. We could do Swole versus Gonzalez for the junior title if we really wanted to. We could just make the junior title like the women's title. The only problem with that is, again, remember, I don't know the next time we're going to be able to sign a woman. Because they have to. I think there's 1 or 2 in free agency now, but they're expensive, and it's going to be a while for us to be able to sign them. And they might not pop up for a year. You might not get any females popped up for a year. So I wouldn't restrict it to that much. Doesn't mean we couldn't make the match, but at some point it might mean that we're going Swole versus Taka or something like that. So I'm looking at the chat. What are we thinking? I think we're going to main event with a heavyweight title match. But we've got 8 guys that we need to put in a match. Our first match, I really think we go backwards. Who's challenging for our heavyweight title? This, I'd overwhelmingly suggest we stick with the people that are on our roster. Because the worst thing that could happen is we let one of these 2 guys win our title. That would be bad. Very, very bad. We have a disagreement among the chat. One agreement in that Chris Jericho's got to go for this thing. I think we've got all pretty much AEW. Well, we got old, like mid-2000s Jericho. Okay, so we had a disagreement in the chat, and that disagreement was just changed very quickly. So we're going, I mean, with this roster, we're leaning into the nonsense pretty heavy. So Donatello is getting a chance. Did they really come up with alternate uniforms for... He never wore the trench coat, but I like that they put it on him. So we've got Chris Jericho versus Donatello for the world title. It's 1428 gaming, guys. Just is what it is. Do we want to run a junior heavyweight title match in the 3rd slot? I think we do, but I ask. First off, we also should do this. We're never going to be able to run the hall. We running a junior heavyweight match? I think we are. I've got one suggestion. Steele, you get anything? I'm going to give Cannon this one, and we agree. So we're going Taka Michinoku versus Big Swole. What's Swole got for outfits? Kind of like the silver. So then we've got 2 of our guys and we've got 2 guys from another company. We could either, you can pair them up or we can do 1 and 1 of each. But we've got Raquel Gonzalez, Nick Bockwinkle, who I think is going to get discriminated against a little bit because I think I'm the only one. I never saw him wrestle live either, but I might be the only one that's familiar with him. And then Eddie Edwards and Alan Gardner from DFW that we've got to utilize as well. Eddie is strong style, so we can put him in anything. He should hopefully show up. But whatever match we put Alan in, we have got to make it a showman match so that they hopefully show up. And it looks like we're thinking... we can go with R6. That's fine. I get no problem with that. So Raquel's got a... did Raquel have other outfits? They look a little more like the Raquel Gonzalez we're used to now. She kind of looks like Statlander there. I like the black. We'll just go with the black. And then... so this makes this a little... we're going to leave this then. We're going to leave it strong. I am going to save because we need these 2 to show up. We really do. It's going to hurt us immensely. We cannot run a TV commercial. There's just no way. How much does social media cost me? $8 grand. It's not worth the difference in the tickets. Alright, well that's our card. We got 4 matches, which is already better off than what we had. They're all strong style. We've got 2 title matches. It's about as heavy as I think we could start off. We're going to confirm. We're going to save because if you're not familiar with this, and I have to keep making sure. The scary part, this other Keywork Pro is a promoter save that I have that is in, I believe, August of the 3rd year, where I track all the stats and everything, and it's going to happen. I'm going to save, like, I need to save that in, like, 5 spots, because I'm going to save this over it. I know I am. And I'm going to be, you're going to get to watch me be really sad in one of these streams, in one of these videos, when I do that. Hey, Reaper, what's going on? So we're going to go ahead and go to the show, and if one of them doesn't show up, we're going to try this again. So hopefully we don't have that issue. Looks like we're okay. I believe by getting to the screen, it means that both of them showed up. We plan to be the best in the world. We do have Jericho. He did have that name first. And we have Bockwinkle, who, like, created that character. That's perfect. All right, we got there. We got there. No problems needed. I didn't check our rules, though, because I'm an idiot. So our rules are wrong for what we would normally run. Alright, I'm going to do things that we shouldn't do. Watch. Now they won't show up. I saved before. Oh, it doesn't matter. Oh, I shouldn't have even done that. Yeah, it won't matter. I can't change them anyway. Alright. Well, it doesn't matter. We'll edit that out. I was hoping. Yeah, the card's already been set. I can't change the rules in here. I'm almost positive. Now that I've confirmed it. Yeah, I can't do anything. So I can change the speed. This first card will be... it won't have the normal rules. Now watch. Now they won't show up. Okay, we're fine. So yeah, what's going on, Reaper? We're about to sim the matches. I just need to change the speeds of them because we can't watch them on 100. Really, the differences here are it means that they can get counted out if they go outside the ring, so they'll come back in the ring. They almost never get counted out. If they were to pick up a weapon, the referee will have a 5 count to stop them from being to disqualify them, and there's more of a chance than there would be normally for somebody to get KO'd. I don't turn KO off, but we turn it to low. But here, we're going to go ahead. This first match is not our roster, but it matters, and we're going to watch it because the ratings for every match, every card, are a big deal. So, Eddie Owens is in the shorts. He's the white guy in the shorts. And Alan Gardner is the guy taking him on. So when we did this previously, hey Volty, when we did this previously, every match struggled to go more than like 9 minutes. And it tanked our ratings to the point where when we finally tried to sign a big free agent, we ran out of money. But this is the inaugural card, official card of 1428 Wrestling. These will be the only two guys that you'll see on this show if you're just popping in, because we got some new people in the chat. The only two on this card that are created by the game, not real people. Everybody else is created, but they're either real people or real characters. You'll see what I mean as we go through. And for everybody who just jumped in, Reaper and Volty, if you guys do stick around through us watching the matches, we'll be trying to sign a free agent after this card, and you guys are going to be able to get in and say who's going to be the next free agent. And if I pay attention and I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, you'd be able to predict who's going to win this match also. So we're going to get that up and running here real quick. You're going to get a real quick chance at this. And like I mentioned, Eddie Owens is in the shorts. Alan Gardner is in the trunks. 1, 2. We had 2 counts already. In general, Fire Pro, you want the more near falls that you see, the better. The more 2.9s we get, usually the better. Obviously, that means the longer it goes. Nice Hurricane Rana. Volty went big. 400 channel points. You'll have plenty of chances, don't worry, to win more or lose them back, however it goes. Eddie Owens misses it off the top. Gardner decides to try the same thing with far more success. And as you've already noticed, I'm not going to sit here and try to be Jim Ross and call every move as we go here. I'll react to what's going on here a bit, but I don't think you guys need me to be a color commentator on this thing or anything. Double axe handle off the apron. You gotta love the dives and even just the jumps. Figure 4 on the floor. So yes, this won't normally be the case. There normally won't be the count. I prefer. Twisting suplex. This Eddie Owens guy, I've mentioned in the past in different ones, like the characters created by the game are in every single one. I've seen him put on some pretty decent matches. Oh, jeez. That was a big Ezekiel Jackson. It was like Ezekiel Jackson's finisher, if I remember. It was like a clothesline and that. He just picked you up really high. He slammed you down. I don't remember what he called it. Gardner going for the win. Not quite. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I love the simulation style and everything in this so much more than 2K. Alan Gardner is victorious. We had an 84 after the pole shift flosion. It's an interesting name. But we'll take that. That rating's right. The ultimate goal here, we want the show rated above an 80. The show's got to be above an 80, and we've done good things. So now we're into the real bit of the roster. The last match on the show that's not a title match. Nick Bockwinkle was probably before all of your times, and just barely before mine. I mean, he was retired, I believe, or pretty darn close by the time that I was born, but I'm familiar with him. Versus Raquel Gonzalez, if I'm not mistaken, unless I've missed something, because I don't watch NXT every week, but current NXT Women's Champion, I believe, right? I believe I've had this Raquel Gonzalez for a little bit, so if she's not super updated, I believe her look has changed a little bit now. Raquel's not taking any of Nick's crap, I'll tell you that. Boston Crab. I'm very interested to see how this match goes. Because like I mentioned, it's sometimes the creator wrestlers skewer towards the males in terms of how many skill points they put into everybody. And the game doesn't have any female titles, so if you want women's creator wrestlers to hold titles, it has to be one of the male titles, or one of the regular titles. It has to be in a gender. So, you'd like to see Raquel hold her own here, enough that we can do this and not immediately assume it's going to tank a rating. That's the only fear here. You know, these matches are fun, but if Nick beats her in 6 minutes, because the creator wrestlers just aren't balanced enough, then it hurts our show. But with a small roster like we have, there's not going to be a lot of ways to get around it. Working the arm. Starting to build a little bit more momentum than we'd like to see this early. But Raquel's not taking it. Raquel's not having it. Bockwinkle, I don't know if you have a submission that's going to help, that all that arm ringing is going to help, but he's certainly going to work on that arm. Enough of that. Throw you down. She wanted to charge him. He got out of the corner before she had the chance. Huge clothesline. Got a 2 count. Raquel's hung in. We're up to 9 minutes. She's definitely held her own here. Alleviated some of my concerns. See, it could go either way, because you'd like Raquel to win. She's the 3rd junior, so it's easy then to give her a title shot if she wins, if you're thinking that kind of way. Also, Bockwinkle could be a main eventer, so you don't necessarily need him getting squashed every month, but she's getting tired. He's just wearing her down. Oh boy. Big boot though. He just stole her move. Straight up stole her move. And beat her with it. That was dirty, Nick. That was awfully dirty. That was very Bockwinkle. The tequila shot. Yeah, Nick Bockwinkle didn't have anything named the tequila shot, I'll tell you that. Nick Bockwinkle is your winner. Now we get into serious stuff. We're going to crown a couple of champions. WWF era Taka Michinoku or Big Swole. Who will be the first ever junior heavyweight champion? Reaper, how do you get a guy in here? If you mean just into our mode, earlier in this stream, I had everybody that was here guess or give me a number from 1 to 575, and I have a list of all the promotions in a random order and how many people they each have. counting from 1 to 575. So everybody gave us numbers, and the 6 numbers that we got were the 6 people that I started with. From there, like, we won't be adding anybody else in. The game will be bringing them in. So we've sent out a couple of scouts. The other promotions will also scout for people. And basically, when we scout someone, they'll pop up as a free agent that we can then try to sign. And as we get going, eventually there'll be months where we'll find somebody, another company will find somebody, and, you know, that's when I'll go to the chat and be like, all right, so who do we want to try to sign once we kind of have the money to do so? Right now, it's, like, even after this show, it will be, like, we might not have too many choices, because we might not have, we're going to lose money in this first month. Swole to the floor. Is everybody going with Swole? Will it show me? Oh yeah, everybody went Swole. Or at least all the points are on Swole. Hi, Leia. Off. There you good. Can I have my phone? Thank you. You're good right there. Are you on camera? I'm sure that's important to you. Yeah, you're pretty close. There you go. Taka working the leg. We're in a pretty good spot right now. That last one was an 85, so we've got to be averaging an 84 and 85 for the show.
Okay, baby.
Maybe Steely, but remember, if you're looking at this match for a #1 contender for the world title, the winner of this one's going to have a title. So it'd be hard. You'd almost wonder, is Bockwinkle that #1 contender for winning the last match? Because is there no junior heavyweight title in the match next time because Raquel did win? Or do we find a junior that we can sign? I don't know. Like I say, it's probably going to be somewhat hard to sign people early. Just because we're going to lose money. Yeah, it might be. Bockwinkle might be looking at a world title match next month just for the fact that he won that match. Because we're certainly not going to give it to one of the guys in the first match, because if they win our title, now we don't have a belt. And that's miserable. Ah, going to the eyes. Definitely better than when we were running Showman and everything was over within 8 minutes. This is definitely the way to go. Oh, Michinoku driver. Michinoku driver is going to do it. You're not kicking out of the Michinoku driver. That's not going to make the Twitch chat, the prediction game, happy. Only a 75 on that one. So where's that put us for the show? Because that drags us down a little bit. We are at an 81. So it all falls down to this main event. We really want to be over an 80. That's a pretty big deal. Luckily, we've got a 1428 World Championship match. That's a main event anywhere in the world. Let's face it. Just put this on the marquee. It's selling out. No questions. You're turning them away at the door. First ever 1428 heavyweight world champion. Will it be Chris Jericho or Donatello? Oh, man, he is big. His head is big. That is a big head, Donnie. Big leg drop, too. Oh, I think Donnie just went for an RKO. I've not seen these guys in action. Big stalling suplex. Donnie falls to the floor. There are plenty other... I mean, the real... Anybody watching, the real superstars, wrestlers, whatever you choose to call them, largely outnumber the gaming contingent that we have. We just so happened to land on Donatello here in the beginning, so we got to play around with a little bit at the beginning. But they can pop up just the same as anybody. There's not enough of them to, you know, overweigh. But a little bit of humor here and there is never a bad thing. Oh, we're trading shots. Even the bottom of Donnie's feet are detailed. That's pretty awesome. It's pretty good work by the guy that made this. But Jericho's kind of putting the work on him. Sliding drop kick. Lion salt. Is that off the corner or did he hit the ropes? I didn't notice. Oh, step up Enziguri. Jericho's not playing around. If Jericho were to win, it's kind of cool because if you remember the whole best in the world Chris Jericho, he's said it a million times. That character, and we do have that outfit, so to say, on this Jericho. It was largely inspired by Nick Bockwinkle. So it'd be kind of cool to run that match. Donatello might have something to say about that, though. A huge Pele kick. They're just going to keep kicking each other in the back of the head. And I don't see anything wrong with it. Pulsey's worried about losing in the poll because he's going to have 0 channel points. I'm pretty sure you accumulate more channel points just by being here, though. So you'll get some more to be able to play around with. And if you are watching on YouTube and want to be able to vote in who's going to win these things, first off, you can always throw it in the comments. I check all the comments. I'll reply to you guys. If you want to let me know what you guys are thinking about the shows in the comments. I'd love to see the reaction to the very, oh man, Taste Buster, very interesting roster we put together. But if you want to be able to predict these matches live as they're happening, you've got to head to Twitch. You've got to find us on Twitch. It's in the YouTube description to this video. Jericho with a reversal of the win. That was a little early. That might have ruined our rating for the event. It's possible. They had a good match, but it didn't go as long as I thought it would. Jericho proving that the turtles are stronger together. Right on the nose, we hit an 80. With the roll up, we hit an 80. They just hit the mark we needed them to hit. Does that should have, even if it 81. We can live with that. Chris Jericho and Taka Michinoku are the first ever champions of 1428 Wrestling. We're going to end our event. Take a look at what it says. Jericho's the new champ. Taka's the new champ. Our show is a success. It does point out that we didn't quite fill the building, which is not a surprise in that first show, but we hit 81, so we should be able to bring more people in next month. We still need a 4th match as well. And then this is a big part. As soon as I hit X here, we're going to go into February. We see we lost $7,000. Expected. Manageable number. No scouting, no anything. Oh, actually, I believe that comes up here if it's going to happen. Nothing. Okay. So we didn't find anybody. Nobody else found anybody. But we're going to have to likely dive into merchandise, try to recoup a little bit of that money that we lost in the first month. Might play around and see if we can sign a free agent. I don't know if we can. It depends on who's out there and what they cost. But we had a good first month. We had a much better first month than we were previously, we've experienced in the past. So, onward and upwards for 1428 Wrestling. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you guys had as much fun with episode 1 as we had over on Twitch putting it together. Keep an eye on our YouTube here for further episodes. We've got a lot more of this coming. And make sure you're subscribed over on Twitch, the link down below, so that you can help direct the future of 1428 Wrestling, who we sign, what kind of matches you guys see. It's the easiest way for you to influence what you want to see in this whole series as we get this thing up and running. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one.
And there's no objection.